Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to plane. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tools. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I. Sean, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. We in the building, y'all. Rally Radio, you know how we get down, man. It's the bearded one here. S.I. Sean is on a trip right now. He out there in the streets, baby. Early. I'm not mad at him. He took a little trip to Europe to see what's going on, but shout to everybody listening, paying attention. You already know what it is, the bearded one here. We're going to bring you a good show. Shout to S.I. Sean. I know he out there listening. The man went on to France. I said, wow, where you going? He said, I'm going to France. I said, I hear you, kid. Word, man. So we here, man. We in the building. We got a lot to talk about, man. You know how we get down, man. Sorry for the lateness. We always rushing it. Yo, what's going on, kid? Peace, peace. You already know what it is. We appreciate everybody for tuning in, paying attention. Shout to y'all. Shout to BP. He's in the building today, man. Shout to BP. We have our engineer back in the building. Shout to everybody who's rocking with us early in the morning. We appreciate you. I know it's like 12 o'clock, but I'm glad that y'all rocking with us. Wherever you are, just drop a like if you can. Drop a like for us. You know, let us know where you at. Put your and chime and put your name in the comments, man. Shout to everybody who's rocking with us, though, man. Appreciate it early. We had a great show last week. Y'all know we got at them last week. They deserved every piece of it early. We got after them, though. But that's what we supposed to do, man. But it is definitely one of them days today, and we got a lot to talk about. I'm going to tell you. There's a lot of recalls and things going on out here y'all would not even believe. To tell you the truth, there's a lot of talk right now. Now that after last week, you know, that was one of our topics that we was talking about. We talked about how Tesla had to have such a big recall, 365,000 cars. And yet and still, yo, what's going on? Grandy, what it is? You know, we in the building. It's just been like, it's like nobody's really paying it any mind. And now, you know, not really to get too far into the autos. Like I said, the way politics is infiltrating the automotive community is crazy. It looks like now, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when it comes to EVs, when it comes to battery-powered vehicles, or even just the lithium-ion batteries in general, we can forget about the cars. A big chunk of those factories and, you know, a lot of those dig sites and mines belong to China. And it's like, you know what? It looked like China is siding with somebody else right now. Look, they're siding with Russia. I don't know if that's such a good thing. I don't know if anybody really been talking about it, like how this thing is starting to play out with Ukraine and Russia. And we already seen how it gave us like logistical issues as far as like the supply chain and what they supply to us. But also going into the future, what's going on, Sales? You know what it is. My man Sales, man, a.k.a. Point Break. He is in Mexico. Everybody's on vacation this week. But shout to them. We appreciate everybody that's tuning in regardless. We got to keep in mind that a lot of these materials that they use to build these batteries, China owns about 80% of the mines, and the mines are mostly in Africa. Think about that, too. So we ain't going to get too far into that, but you can see a lot of that playing out. Shout to everybody listening, paying attention. We got a lot of things going on out here. Shout to all the car guys. Shout to all the car gals. You already know what it is. I seen a whole bunch over the week, man. I've been off. You know, I had a lot of time to reflect, definitely look at a lot of the different shows that we've done. And I just wanted to commemorate those that rock with us and that's been rocking with us about how far we've come, you know, as a show. And just to put it out there, it's really been a journey. You know, it's like now we starting to see things. Shout to sales. You know what I'm saying? Shout to sales. It's like we see a lot of things, you know, going on. And it's like, you know, we've been talking about it. And this is what I mean about staying the course and knowing what you're talking about, knowing what you're doing the research, because that's what we really do. We really sit back and we look, man. This ain't no fly by night, man. You know, we make sure we do what we got to do as far as like keeping people involved in what's going on. You know what I mean? So don't forget, that's our Instagram down there at the bottom. If you can, subscribe to the Instagram, man. We got a couple other things going on. Like I said, we just want to make sure that we putting it all out there. And if you can, share it, man. Let people know what's going on, man. A lot of people been like, oh, you know, I don't know about y'all rally. Well, listen, keep it in mind, right? Like I said, there's a lot of things going on, but we just try to make sure we keep everybody abreast. And if you used to listening on the app, right now the app is being done is down for required maintenance. To tune in, just go to www.barsandhoopsradio.com. You can tune in live if you're on your phone and you got something you got to do. Just go to www.barsandhoopsradio.com and just press play, and you can listen to us from there. Right now, the app is being redone. It's going to come back, and it's going to be real special. It's going to have a lot of different things to it, so we just can't wait. We're going to make sure that we make it nice so that it's easy and accessible. But right now it's down because they're fixing it up. We're getting it ready. So if you want to listen to us and you want to be on the move, go to www.barsandhoopsradio.com on your phone, and you'll be able to listen to us in your headphones while you're out there bopping at work. You know what I'm saying? And you know we got some music too, ride music. If it gets played in the ride, it gets played on Rally Radio. We are in the building. Well, I will say this, though. Shout-outs. We're going to give a couple shout-outs today. Shout out to my guy Sales that's tuned in from Mexico early. Shout out to Jessica Grandy. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to all people in the car community right now because we getting ready. I put up a little live video the other week. I'm getting my car ready, y'all. Oh, man, on top of the Type R, I'm getting the CRX ready. It's going to be interesting. Don't forget, you're going to be able to see some of that on YouTube. It's going to be real interesting. It's a lot of things going on, man, but shout out to everybody for listening and paying attention, man. I'm going to tell you my week was very interesting. A lot going on, man. A lot going on, especially on the automotive side, and I can't wait to get into some of it because it's been going crazy, man. So with that being said, we ain't going to hesitate. We're going to jump right in. Here we go. Now, y'all tuned in last week. Y'all remember the bombshell that we dropped out there. Crazy bombshell. Tesla had a huge recall. They brought back 360,000 cars with the beta FSD standing for full self-driving. They brought it back because they said, you know what? They deemed it unsafe. And it did hit their stock a little bit, too, even though their stock went up almost 100 points. But it did hit their stock a little bit. But at the end of the day, I guess people still believe in it. I hear that. It is what it is. But like I said, you can never stray from what you know. And what you know is that FSD is just not realistic in my opinion. But we talked about that. That's part of the recap. We also talked about Dodge's last call event advertising. Now, for those that know, they know that I love the Dodge Challenger Hellcat, Charger Hellcat. And it looks like this is it. This is the last run. This is going to be it. They're going to shut them down after that. Well, this is the last call. Now, they've released 6 of the 7 cars that need to be released. Now, the last car, they're having a whole event, March 20th, for all the auto heads. It's going to be March 20th, and they're going to release the very last of the last call Dodges. Now, remember, this is it. After this, Dodge is looking to go EV. They're going to have Turbo 6 models and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the death of the V8 from Dodge. So this one's going to be interesting. I don't know how many horses, what it's going to be carrying when it's out there, but it's going to be very interesting to check it out. And so far, the advertisements have been crazy. You've been seeing this like little leprechaun with red eyes. I don't even know where they're going with that, but I'm trying to figure it out because Dodge like to drop the little Easter eggs and let you know what they're doing, but it's very interesting either way. And another thing we talked about last week, it looks like Cali is paying you to switch your old school from gas to electric. From gas to electric. Never. Excuse me. I just got to laugh one more time. Never. They want you to take your nice old school that you done went and got. We all seen the Donk Masters with the crazy Corvette motors in their cars, and they got these big 1965 caddies and all that, or 1985 caddies. They want them to take those motors out, and they want you to put an electric motor in the car. And they said they're going to pay you to do it. Yeah, okay. You ain't paying me to do that. I don't understand how you can even. But then again, you got a lot of these automotive cats. And shout to S.I. Sean, because I know that's exactly what he would be saying right now. You got a lot of these automotive cats out here fronting super hard. Oh, nah, EV ain't so bad. Come on, fam. Stop. If you're going to make a car that's EV and you're going to drive it, that's fine. But there's no way I'm taking the engine, the reliable motor, out of my car and putting in an EV car. It's not happening. But, to other people, they with it. So we'll see, man. Shout to them. Psych. But we also got it was more going on. It looks like, and this was part of our. It's the understeer. Y'all know we like to get down with the understeer. Looks like a guy was stealing a catalytic converter from under a car, and while he was stealing it, cutting it out, the person who was in the car actually backed up over him and killed him by accident. So imagine he got out to steal, and when he got out to steal, he's under the car trying to cut the catalytic converter off. The person wakes up from the noise because they were asleep in the car. The person wakes up from the noise, starts the car up, and just backs over him and kills him. Wow. How do you explain that to his family? I don't know, but it's the understeer. He got the understeer from last week. And like I said, shout to those listening and paying attention who rock with us. You already know what it is. Yeah, that's crazy. I said the same thing, Grandy. I said the same thing. I said he was chilling up under the car talking about what's the worst that can happen? I'm going to just book this catalytic converter real quick. Woke up the person. I wonder if they even look in the driver's seat to see if the person was even sitting there. I guess not. And when she woke up and was like, oh, she was startled, started up the car and backed up the car while he was under it, killing him. Wow. And his peoples got caught that dropped him off in the van. Talk about parking at the hydrant. How he said the range got told they double parked by a hydrant. So shout to Jessica Grandy. Real quick, you know why they steal those converters? They steal the catalytic converters because it has an amount of precious metal on the inside. It has all palladium, has all kind of different platinum. It has a lot of different precious metals, but in very small quantities. So what they do is they steal the catalytic converters to get the precious metals out of them. And then obviously they take it and get money for the precious metals. You would think the amount that's in there is not worth it, but now if you steal 100, if you steal 100 catalytic converters, now all of a sudden it's worth it. So you got to look at it like that's why they really stealing them, and that's why the prices is going up on them. They especially looking for cars like EVs or hybrids because their catalytic converter system, well, not EVs, but the hybrids, their catalytic converters are precious because they use them. They really have a lot in them to decipher and clean out the air or the exhaust as it's coming out. Shout out to everybody listening, paying attention. See the numbers jumping up crazy. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in. So that's why they steal them, Jessica. That's why they steal them. They steal them just for the precious metals on the inside. And it's been so many different things to stop them from stealing it. They done put out laws. They don't put cages over the catalytic converters. It seems not to matter. And for those that drive the big trucks, like the F-150s and all of that, those are the ones that they going for because they don't have to jack those cars up. They can slide right under that car, and they could cut that catalytic converter and leave, which is what this guy tried to do. He tried to take it over a Ford Excursion. Shout to the Forders. When's the last time you seen one of those? It was the big truck after the expedition. He tried to steal one of those, and she just happened to be in the car. She heard the noise, started it up. She getting ready to pull off, and he's up under the car, and he's in pieces, kid. That's crazy. But he got the understeer. He got the understeer for that, kid, because there's no way you're going to be up under there, Sean. What are you doing? He should have known better, bruh. But, you know, there's no honor amongst thieves. But you know where there's some honor at, though, y'all? We going to jump right into this weekly specs. You already know what it is.
Weekly specs. Auto news for all the listeners, only on Rally Radio.
All right, we going to jump right into this weekly specs. Y'all know we got a lot going on out here. This is going to be interesting. So, it looks like there's a bill in Florida that will ban dogs from sticking their head out the window while the driver is driving. This is what I mean. They can come up with any kind of laws that they want, and this is the kind of stuff that they paying attention to. They want to ban dogs from sticking their heads out the window while the owners is driving. So, you know how you see people with their little dogs sitting on their lap, no dogs riding on motorcycles? They don't want none of that in Florida. They said Florida has been full of ideas and they banning stuff, which is crazy. And the Florida State Senator Lauren Book is responsible for a bill which concerns animal welfare and covers a lot of ground. It includes a lot of different languages, you know, for cosmetics, this, that, and the third. But it also looks like they prohibiting the declawing of cats, and they also want to stop dogs from hanging out the window. And this is the way they wrote it in the bill. It says prohibiting a person from taking specified actions related to the transportation of dogs on public roadways. So it sounds a little, you know, how they do with the law language. It's like, you know, it sounds a little vague, right? The first part of the dog transportation part says that you can't have a dog on your lap while you're driving. I agree with that too as a driver, because what if the dog do something, he jump in your face or whatever have you, now you smacking up, you crashing. It's crazy out there. But they also don't want those dogs riding in passenger seats. And they said especially if the dog weighs less than 10 pounds. That's crazy. So they don't want that at all. They don't want it on the motorcycle or anything. And you know, a lot of dog owners are like fighting it. They're like, oh, my dog loves it. There's no way, you know, to put his head out the window. You got to let him put his head out the window, right? And people are really fighting it down there. They're going crazy down there. So just another thing that you're going to see New York City adopt, because they love to adopt everybody else's rules. So we'll see how that goes. But it's going to be interesting, man. No more Fido hanging out the window. They not feeling it, and they don't want it. They like, listen, man, we done told y'all. Y'all can't have dogs hanging out the window. But anyways, you figure,
keep the change, you filthy animal.
we don't care about that. We don't really care about that. But we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes with them as far as them letting dogs hang out the window. Oh. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
Yo, I don't care where I'm at. I'm poolside.
Yo, Sales, is you?
Yo, my family is like, yo, you talking too loud.
Yo, how's Mexico, man?
Yo, my family is like, you talking too loud. Yeah, but I got to Rally Radio.
I appreciate you, man. How is it out there in Mexico? How's the weather, man?
What? It's like 95 degrees poolside. You got cabanas, all type of stuff going on and whatnot. But I had to come and listen to my Rally Radio.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Let the people of Mexico know how we say it in Mexican. I'm going to look that up. At the Rally at the Radio. I'm going to Google translate it. But, yo, shout to you, Sales. I shouted you out earlier. I said his new name is Point Break, man. Tell him what you was doing out there in Mexico.
Yeah, I was out here. I was driving around, listening to radio and stuff like that. But they have no idea what's going on with the testing.
They have no idea.
They have no idea.
Wow.
And I had to keep that in my head. And I'm like the crazy accidents that's been going on
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that. I just seen the one that just happened with the bus
Yes.
in New York.
Yes. The fire truck.
Exactly, the fire truck.
She crashed right into a fire truck. So,
Yep.
Sales, did you know that in Spanish, rally radio is called Radio de Rally?
Listen, whatever they doing. But I know I had to listen to Rally Radio early in the morning.
Yo.
And my family is like, "What's your phone going on?" Like crazy. I'm like, "It's Rally Radio time."
It's
And
rally.
I'm in Mexico. And this is what I need to do.
Yo, I appreciate you for tuning in. And our app is down right now. So if you have the internet out there, what you do, you can just check it out on www.balsandhoopsradio.com because
Yeah,
I know you walking around.
I got all that. My wife and everybody's like, "Why's your radio going off like crazy?" It's Rally Radio time.
We appreciate that, man. S.I. Sean is on his little trip too, man.
Yep, and I'm in Cabo, Mexico.
Oh,
I'm
man.
poolside
Oh.
from early this morning, but I had to get my radio shit on.
I appreciate you greatly, Sales. And you know when you come back, we're going to have a whole bunch more. We got a bowling event that we had to postpone. We're going to have that coming up, too. We're going to have a bowling event.
You might even hear the music in the background and whatnot.
No.
They playing.
I hear it. It sounds like it's a party out there.
What?
And here it go. It's about to snow crazy out here in New York right now.
Listen, I'm in Mexico, and I'm still listening.
That just lets us know that we got to broadcast every Saturday, man. Every Saturday we in the building.
Exactly. My wife is like, DITCH, like, can we go somewhere else? Listen, this is what I do.
Early.
Peace out to everybody.
Yo,
Have
thank
a good
you.
day.
You too,
I'm
kid.
still listening.
You too, kid. Take it easy out there. Shout the Sales, man. Let's get it. Enjoy yourself, bro.
Later.
All right, peace. Shout to Sales for tuning in Cabo San Lucas, kid. Oh, everybody on vacation but the bearded one. It's okay. It's okay. I ain't gonna cry. I'm even gonna cry a little bit, man. I ain't gonna cry. Well, you know what? I'm gonna cry a little bit. I'm gonna just get it off my chest. All right, I'm good. I just had to get that off my chest. Everybody's on vacation. But shout to those that's tuned in and listening anyway. We appreciate you. So now we also got a big band coming up here. Now I wanted to turn the music off. Y'all know we turn the music off, we get real serious out here. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating the Ford F-150 Lightning battery fire. Here goes another EV that's out here catching on fire and nobody is banging it in. Now it looks like the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating all of it. It had a big factory fire. Let's get into it a little bit. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said it is holding discussions with the Ford Motor Company after the automaker halted F-150 Lightning production and deliveries early this week following a battery fire that erupted at an assembly plant in Dearborn, Michigan. Ford has not immediately commented on the talks with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. According to Ford, the battery of one F-150 Lightning caught fire on February 4th during a routine pre-delivery quality inspection in one of the plant's holding lots. That fire quickly spread to a second truck. As a result, the automaker halted production the next day, and the news of the production stoppage became public 10 days later. So, okay, this happened, right? It caught fire. Now, the Ford F-150 Lightning, I don't know if a lot of people know, but this is one of the newest EVs that Ford is pushing outside of their Mach-E. So, it looks like the Ford F-150 Lightning truck caught fire, and it looked like it made more than one truck catch fire. But here's the problem. Ford didn't even report it They didn't report it for 10 days. They tried to keep it inside. So it says the battery issues is believed to be directly related to the components of the battery itself, which is crazy. The F-150 Lightning battery components are produced by supplier SK on at a plant in Atlanta before being assembled at Ford's plant in Michigan. Additionally, CNBC is reporting Ford has confirmed F-150 Lightnings in the field are experiencing a battery complication that could prevent the pickup truck from shifting into drive or causing it to gradually lose power while driving. This behavior absolutely squares with the information we have received from our sources. Trucks will not shift into forward or reverse and display the service wrench light on the dash. That's what y'all buying. Again. That is what you're buying. Now listen, we've been talking about those Teslas for a long time, and look, it ended up being true. And we wasn't really talking about the charge aspect, or the real problem is the full self-driving when it comes to Tesla. We always talked about that. Why would you want to trust a car to drive for you? But people were, and now they see that it was wrong. And now we talked about this Ford F-150 Lightning when it first came out. They had one of these stall out, and the guy could not move it. And they also not talking about that GMC Hummer EV, but that's another one. But it looks like they're saying that the stuff that the battery is made of is prone to catch fire. This is in the news. I'm not making this up. This is on CNBC. The sources indicate, oh, here we go. We got a caller. Rally Radio, who we got in the box?
You know who it is. You
Oh.
called me. You called me just now.
It's our resident Ford guy, Miller. What's going on, Miller? What they doing
You called
out here,
me.
Miller?
You called me without using my name. You called me.
So, Miller, you hear what's going on. The Ford
Yes, sir.
F-150.
Yeah, I hear you.
What's going on, Miller? What's going on?
Yeah, they well, I mean, Tesla and most of these companies, they have a serious problem. And you pretty much nailed it. It's the battery.
Yes.
I mean, even in these mopeds, these e-bikes, it's the battery.
It's the batteries.
And I don't know why they keep going to this one company I don't know if there's more than one company out there, but they need to find one that can take what is being put out there, and they need to do some real vigorous testing on it, so this thing won't happen. But the sad truth is, you're not going to be able to get them all.
Well, Miller, check this out. Listen to this, and this is why people always try to say all the time. Like I had an argument, not an argument, but like going back and forth on Instagram with a guy. He was like, "Oh, the batteries are not the same." I said they have the same components, bro. Like come on, let's be serious. So it says here the sources indicate the fix from Ford is going to be a battery module replacement in the field. This involves removing the Lightning's entire battery pack, opening it, then removing and replacing the damaged module in question using a replacement kit the company has bundled in the parts catalog. Ford is adamant the battery module failures in the fire on February 4th are unrelated, meaning Ford is now dealing with two relatively major battery issues simultaneously. The automaker sold 2,200 F-150 Lightnings in January, while more than 15,600 trucks found homes in 2022. That is the scary part right there. There's a whole bunch of them running around out there.
SMH.
So my thing is, does this now? We all know that we could be loyal to a brand, and that's why we call you our resident Ford guy, because you're loyal to the brand. So I'm not gonna say that it's the brand's fault. I really feel like they're being forced. But now, what do we say about this, Miller? Like, how can they spin this?
Well, pretty much like I said before, they have enough money where they can, go down to the basement. Remember the basement?
Yeah. Yeah.
And sit down with those guys, and they can create their own thing. They don't have to buy another company's, components and stuff.
But remember, Miller, they do that to cut costs. These EVs are very expensive to make, and we talked about that too. The fact that they're so expensive, they're probably trying to do any and everything to not put the cost on the buyer. But which is probably
why they're trying to buy back the older models, because they know eventually, guess what? No one is going to buy them.
They're going to need them, Miller. They're going to need them. They're like, yo, did we get those old F-150? Yeah. Sell those.
And you know what's funny? I got an email a couple of days ago.
Oh, man, they still trying.
They're trying, and you know who they were doing it through?
Who?
Carfax.
What do you mean?
They sent me a letter. They emailed me, and they're still interested in buying my vehicle back. And they actually tried to give me an estimate based. They're guessing on the mileage that they think that I have.
Uh-huh.
And it's not an actual figure, but matter of fact, the figure that they have is based on they base it on the fact that they think that I got 36,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And they, you know how much they were offering?
Tell me.
29,000. And you know how much that covers? That covers the whole basis of the rest of the loan.
Right. So now you ain't got no car, you ain't got no loan, and now you gotta go get another one. Nah, I'm good. Thank you.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Matter of fact, you know what you need to do? You need to press that button that makes them want to go in there and destroy the place.
Word. Because it's not making no sense. They definitely was they was in there wilding. In there wilding, Miller. That's them when you hit them back. You like, nah, man, I'm gonna keep my truck. They like, yo, man, who's in here sending these things out?
That's exactly what they do. They're saying this mofo is not gonna give up his truck. God dang it, we need to get that truck.
So now I gotta ask you. Now I remember before we talked about how you felt about the Mach E and the Ford F-150 Lightning. And even I said my own self, I said, and I know everybody's like, I can't believe the bearded one said it. Yes, I did. I said, you know what? If I had to get an EV, if I had to, it would be this one. I said, because I thought it was like, it had so many different things with it. It was like so many different, it had 11 different plugs around the car. It has a frunk. And for those that don't know what a frunk is, you know there's no longer an engine in the front of the car. So now when you pop it, that's your trunk. You could put groceries and stuff in there, but you can still carry the payload in the back. So I said, you know what? It's not a bad car, but listen, they're having a lot of issues out of this thing. And I'm like, no. Now Ford is in the crosshairs now. It's like, what are y'all doing?
But you know what? As crazy as it sounds, I trust Ford more than I trust Tesla.
Say that again, please, because I don't think the people in the back heard you. Say it one more time.
As bad as this is right now, I would still trust Ford before I buy a Tesla.
Shout to Miller. Shout to Miller. Because you're 100% right. You know why I would trust them more than Tesla? And I'm going to tell you why. Because they are a true car company.
Yes.
They are a true car company. The one thing that's been my knock on Tesla this whole time was that, you know what? Everybody says they're a tech company building cars. No, they're a car company. Y'all trying to find another way to skew the lamb. Nah, B. They're a car company. And they're responsible for a lot of different things. And you know what? I did say we was going to have a part 2, which is probably going to be next week. Because there's a lot of things that they got to unpackage right there. If full self-driving and all of that has caused accidents, do people have a reason to sue now?
Ooh, but it's funny you bring that up because I was talking with a dude that's a Tesla owner. And there's two types of the driving.
Yes, the autonomous driving, two types.
You have one. He told me there was one that cost $6,000.
Yes.
Now, and with that one, it allows you will be driving, but once you enter the ramp that takes you onto the highway,
okay,
it takes over. That's when it's driving. That's when it's self-driving.
What?
But it's only just going to be on the highway. So the moment you leave the highway, then you have to take over. You have to drive. You have to resume driving abilities again.
So you mean
that?
Wait,
brother.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
That one is $6,000.
Okay.
Or you can subscribe.
Here we go.
For I think it was $100 a month. But check this out. Hang on to that one. And then you got the one. You got the full automated driving where the car will drive itself from door to door.
What?
That one costs $15,000.
So
or
charging you.
200. I think it's 200. I think you said 200 or between 100 and 200 $200 a month.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, Tesla has their loyal people.
Wow, man.
I mean, look, people always, and it's funny because people that drive, they always make fun of Ford.
Yes, they do.
They have an acronym for them.
Found on road dead.
Right. One of many. But the crazy thing is, they make fun of Ford, but guess what? Ford is still here.
It's true.
Tesla is just getting started, but they got to go through their own trials and tribulations before they can actually get it right, even though they may think they got it right.
Wow, that is crazy. But it's just the fact that they put a price range on it. Like, listen, 6,000, you get on the highway, it drive for you. 7,500, it'll come to you and then it'll get on the highway. 15,000, it can take you door to door. So you charging me pretty much essentially for my own casket. Because
now this is the other thing that he said. If you get either one of those and if Tesla wants to buy it back, it actually raises value on the vehicle because of the software that's in there. So if you bought one, say for $40K, and then you had the $15,000 software put in there, installed to it, and if they wanted to buy it back, it would actually appreciate instead of depreciate.
What? So now you appreciating with software? This is amazing.
That's what I gathered.
This is
now
amazing.
I could be wrong. If I'm saying it wrong, then I could be wrong. But that's what it's interpreted in my mind. Because remember you and SI on. I asked y'all this question earlier because you remember I said if you do buy a vehicle, everybody's always said that when you buy a vehicle, it depreciates the moment it drives. Once you drive it off the lot,
right.
It depreciates. But there are vehicles out there that don't depreciate, but they actually do appreciate the value when you take care of them and they've been out there for a while, but you constantly, you're updating and taking care of it.
Fact.
So remember, I asked y'all that. You said, yeah, if you take care of it, depending on what make and model and year it is, they do actually go up in value.
Yes. But here's the deal. Here's where that kind of spins me, because he just talked about 3 levels of autonomous driving, FSD, right? Are they refunding people their money back?
2. Actually, I think it was 2. I just told you. It was 2.
Okay, excuse me, 2. Are they giving people their money back? Because the United States government is not allowing them to have it.
Well, that's a good question.
That is a great question.
I can't answer that one, brother. Pretty much.
Because that's the problem. Remember, the government has outlawed this. They said, listen, they have to be recalled.
Yeah.
So if you're charging me $15,000, you gotta get my money back.
But see, the thing is, I don't know if that's under the pretenses of if you decide to sell your car back to them.
I mean,
you're probably going to get the surplus of whatever you sold, whatever the price was that you sold it for. You're probably going to get a little bit more for it if you decide to sell it.
I need my money. I mean, you got the software on the car. See, here's my problem, right? This is why I find a problem with software making the car worth money, because at any time they can take it off. It's software.
Right.
It's not hardware. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that the car was built with. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is something that they integrated into the hardware in your car, into the computers in your car. So it's like, I don't understand how they, like, how they integrate something or put something in your car, and now it's worth more if you sell it with it on it. They could take it off.
But I think in his case, what he told me was, it's not in there yet, but it is, the car is built where if it needs to be installed, there's a spot for it, so it is ready.
Okay. That see, that's crazy. That's crazy. But now, so that means that he's not gonna abandon this thing. He's pretty much just like,
I believe, not to cut you off, I believe that he's doing the lease option.
Wow.
Because it's easier. Because if you don't plan to keep it and you plan to hold on to it for at least 3 years, because that's usually the life of a lease.
Right.
He ain't going to keep it. He's probably going to trade it in and get the newer model. Because, and like everything else, like you and I saw mentioned last week, it's like a phone. It gets upgraded.
Man, it's dangerous. I'm gonna tell you. Do you remember what was it? Do you remember when they was having the problems with the screens that was in the car?
I think you touched on that. I think you may have touched on that.
So they was having a problem with the screens. You know, the screen that's in there. When the screen goes out, the whole car is no good. They said that you can't back it up anything, right? So how did Tesla fix that? Do you remember what they did? They said, you know what? They said instead of recalling it and giving you an old one, we'll, instead of charging you $3,000 for the new computer, we'll charge you $1,500. And they charge $1,500 and give you a brand new middle console screen computer for your car to run like a brand new Tesla. So that's why, to me, it's like when you hear, we can, it doesn't matter, because all they got to do is pull out one thing and put in the next. I mean, they'll do it. I guess that's if cats don't want to take the car back. I just find it interesting, man. Either way.
Well, you know what? I don't think no one's going to take anything back, because if it can be resold, it can be rebought.
That is a fact. That is a super fact. If it could be
the question is, are you going to be the sucker? I mean, the one to buy?
They was like, there we go. Who is the genius today? But you know what, Miller? To go back to Ford, it just says it says one thing about Ford. It says one thing about Ford. They realize that they're getting into something they don't understand. So what do? They do what most companies do when you have something that's unsafe. And what do? They have a stop work. Stop.
That's exactly what they did, yes. And that's one of the reasons why I stayed with them. Matter of fact, I was talking to SP a few nights ago when he was at Lefferts. Right. And I told him, I said, dude, one of the reasons why I don't mind staying with Ford is because, number one, they're all affordable to a degree.
Right.
And I have no problem they have no problem, I should say. When it comes to getting parts, they will always are able to get parts.
Right. It's true. It's true.
Because I remember I told you, yeah, I did tell you, when I had that accident and the people that, the mechanic that fixed my car, they told me, they pointed it out to me. It was a white Honda. I couldn't give you the year, make, or the model.
Right.
But he told me that car was sitting there, and it was still sitting there for almost 6 months because they were waiting for the part.
Wow.
But this was during COVID. So now you got to add more time to it, because if they had to get their parts from China, it wasn't coming.
That's crazy. Shout to I think that's Draco over there. He said he 100% agree with you, Miller, and he said Tesla's running a monopoly on software. Got it.
There you go. I'm surprised that they haven't had a battle with Google and everybody else in the software gig, because Microsoft is trying. They knocking on doors here.
Well, here's the thing.
Back to Ford. Yeah, I mean, and I was telling SP, I was like, if I had a choice, if I was going to get a second vehicle, I told him, I said, look, it's going to either be an F-250 or a Toyota Crewmax.
Well, I tell you what, Miller, we got a couple other things, because you're going to want to hear this next one. And we're going to announce it while you on air. It looks like Ram is having a recall on 340,000 heavy-duty Cummins-powered trucks for fire risk. Now, this they super diesel. Ram is notifying owners over 340,000 heavy-duty pickup trucks. Shout to my guy, Aaron. Aaron, what it is? He said, blessings. We appreciate you, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Says Ram is notifying over 340,000 heavy-duty pickup trucks to park outside due to a risk of a fire. The affected vehicles use an older type of heater grid electrical connector that is no longer in use, according to the Associated Press. A similar recall was performed in 2021, covering a small number of trucks, including the last recall, and on certain 2021 to 2023 Ram 2500 and 3500 pickups, along with Ram 3500 and 4500 and 5500 are having this problem. So if you have any of them, so we gonna lay off Honda and Kia. Shout to Phil. Shout to Dr. Phil. He said, so we gonna lay off Honda and Kia yet? Or nah, they still in the crosshairs. I know, listen. 340,000.
But you know what? That is crazy. That's bananas. And the funny thing is, it was Ford and Chevy that woke up Dodge, because when they came back with their 2019 Dodge Ram pickup, that was pretty. It was pretty, and I was actually thinking about it because it looked better. Because the older models looked like they got punched in the. But you know what? I love the older models because they look like they snarling animals. But Phil, I'm gonna tell you, Miller, Phil is over here. He's like, I remember you spitting a lot of venom on them for the same issues. That's a fact. I was, and not for nothing. The real problem is, right, is that there's 306,000 of the trucks affected in the United States. 21,988 were sold in Canada. The remaining 12,590 were sold outside of North America, and all of the affected trucks are powered by Ram's 6.7-liter Cummins diesel engine. You know what? This is catching fire because of an old school heater that they no longer using. These are newer cars. Yeah.
So I will have the same sort of venom for them too. Yes, they are catching fire. Dodge could do better. And they way down on my SOL list because they getting rid of the Hellcat. So yes, I spits a lot of venom for old diesel pickup trucks that's catching fire in the garage. Got to park it 50 feet up the block. We don't do that here, Miller.
Yeah. See, that's why I stay away from them. I mean, like I said, at least their Jeep, they got their Jeep right.
That's true. Right. And not for nothing, they are saying that all they got to do, they said, don't park them anywhere until you have it fixed. The problem with Hyundai and Kia, now this is always going to be the difference. The problem with Hyundai and Kia was they didn't know what was making these cars catch fire. You remember that?
Yes.
They didn't know what it was. They was like, oh, we not sure, but we think it has something to do with the ignition. And as a matter of fact, I believe we got some people in the group who that affected. They'll talk about it.
And on that note, I'm going to get off the line so you can let those people speak. I done took up most of your time, and I thank you for allowing me to get back on the line. It felt good to be on the air with you.
Y'all appreciate that, Miller.
I know SI is doing his thing, and so while he's out there, go fix his mic, okay? We want him to come back and make sure that his mic is working.
He gonna have a lot of venom though, because when he went to France, he went over to Europe, went to France, Italy, Rome, all these places. And he sent me a video of my favorite car. I think he did it on purpose. So, yeah. He sent me a video of a Ferrari 488 Pista. Ooh. Straight Ferrari red with the black roof. Ooh.
Oh, my.
He hurt my feelings.
Is your passport ready?
My passport, listen, my passport and my tools to get in that car because I can't afford it. Like this you Ferrari 488 Pista, hola. I'm trying to get in it, but yo, Miller, we appreciate you as usual. Thanks for tuning in. You already knew when that Ford came out, you was calling. So it is what it is.
So like I said, you were calling me, so I had to respond. But I can take the pain. If it's wrong, it's wrong.
That's a fact.
But it ain't gonna make me turn mine in.
I hear that. Hold on to yours. They didn't say 150. They didn't say F-150 regular. They said Lightning, so you in good shape, man. Hold on to that joint.
It's still cut from the same cloth. It just doesn't have a. I don't want to say this out loud. It just don't have a 5.0 V8 engine. That's almost blasphemy.
Nah, kid. If anything, they open up the basement door and let you in.
Vehicular treason. All right, brother. You go ahead and do your thing. It's always been a pleasure. It's always good. Talk to you soon. Peace.
All right, Miller. Thanks, man. Shout to you. Peace.
Okay.
Later. Shout to Miller for calling in. We appreciate him, kid. This Dodge Ram thing, right? Shout to Phil. Phil calling me out, man. But I will say, Hyundai and Kia, they didn't know what the problem was. And not for nothing, they had so many different recalls. It was like, yo, what's going on? These Dodge Ram trucks, and you notice they didn't say TRX neither. Probably because it's not super diesels. It looked like they're having a problem more with the heater grid, electrical connected, than anything else. But doesn't look like it's motor related. But I know Phil is like, I don't care. Shout to Phil, man. Keep me honest in here. But what else we got coming up today? So there's a New York lawmaker out there pushing for a 70-mile-per-hour speed limit in New York State. Now, to keep that in mind, we don't mean the city. New York State. This is actually very interesting because I was looking at it, and what he said made a lot of sense. Let's listen to this. New York State speed limit would increase for the first time since 1995 under proposal before the state legislature. Senator Tom O'Mara, a Republican from Big Flats, has introduced a bill that would raise speed limits along parts of the New York Thruway Authority and other highways from 65 miles per hour to 70 miles per hour for all vehicles. Amara said the thought came to him while traveling when he noticed multiple states had consistent speed limits. According to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, 43 states have speed limits above 65 miles per hour on some roads, with New York State having one of the lowest speed limits. The speed limit has been 65 miles per hour since 1995, Amara said. The proposed bill would increase speeds on parts of the following highways: Interstate 81, Interstate 481, State Route 481, Interstate 690, State Route 690, State Route 5, State Route 695, and the Thruway. Wow. Yeah, if he'd have said the belt, it'd have got even more spicy. You ain't lying. It'd have definitely been worth it at that point, Seneca. Shout to Seneca for tuning in. We appreciate you, bro, early. So, to me, in that opinion, right? That to me is it makes sense. Now let's get to his reasoning. So his reasoning has to be, right? He says, O'Mara says he thinks New York should be consistent with the states that have higher speed limits. He said he's less concerned that high speeds could lead to less safe roadways. Plus, he said today's cars have more safety features than those in decades ago. So in 28 years, he said there's been a significant advancements in automotive technology. I think this guy is on to something, and he should run for president early. Let's go. Shout to everybody listening, paying attention. Got my man Dez in the building, a.k.a. the Nose Hunter.
Crikey Mates. Great to be on Rally Radio today, man. Thank you for the invite.
Let's go. You know how we get down. We got a lot of people tuned in and listening, man. We talking about So first off, this is going to be, his name is O'Mara. He's a Republican, Senator Tom O'Mara.
Shout out, go red, go red.
Let's go, son. Let's go. We got to push it, man. They keeping it a buck right now. They doing a good job. For those, it makes sense. Everybody's putting safety equipment on these cars. We got accident sensors and lane detectors and all this other kind of stuff.
10 airbags.
10 airbags. But yet we going slower. You might as well walk.
So and the thing about it is, like, you think there could be a change nationally? Like New York is too slow. They want to bring it down to 20 miles per hour on the street.
Listen, we told you. Listen, Des, don't you come in here spitting venom. Des is in here spitting venom, y'all. We already listen. They want to slow us down to 20 miles an hour. We talked about that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the fact that this guy wants to increase the speed because there's safety everywhere makes the most sense. Make the sensors work. Shout to the Facebook user. Make sense, make the sensors work. That's what I'm talking about.
Less traffic too.
Less traffic.
More flowing traffic. If the speed limit in New York is 65, it's fine because you're gonna have more free flowing traffic. Highways, it doesn't have to be 65 everywhere, but at least on 495.
Now it's funny that you said that because the highways that he's talking about, we just gave a list of them, and one of them is the throughway.
Yeah.
So now, shout to my wife. Me and my wife was driving the throughway, like I want to say Saturday.
Yeah.
No, Thursday. Excuse me. Today's Saturday. Excuse me. We was driving it Thursday. Now, as we driving the throughway Thursday, we drove past a truck that said they had work.
Yeah.
Now, what it is, they have one sign that says your speed, and then they have another digital sign that says the speed limit. And it says the recording is on. They had a camera on top of the construction vehicle.
Yeah, I seen it.
To flag you if you overspeed. That right there.
So you get a ticket in the mail?
No. I slowed it down. I ain't got no time to play with these cats.
I saw the camera on top of it where I see it, but I don't think you get a ticket. I wouldn't pass that joint at like 75, 80.
They definitely send you the ticket, kid.
I didn't get a ticket.
They definitely sending you the ticket. If they didn't send it now, they're going to send it later. Trust me, they on it. Shout to everybody who's listening, paying attention. We see y'all tuned in live. A bulk of y'all are tuned into the YouTube, and I appreciate y'all greatly. If you can, drop a like, subscribe. We're going to be here every week giving you your full automotive news. We appreciate y'all. Seneca, I appreciate you, bro. All you got to do is just drop a like. If you can, subscribe to Gutterball Rally or drop Gutterball Rally. Like, we appreciate y'all. I'm going to say this. AAA performed a crash test at 3 different speeds. 40, 50, and 56. They said the higher the speeds resulted in a higher risk of injury, including death to the driver, the research shows. I don't know if I buy that.
I don't think so.
Go ahead.
I think it depends on where you get hit. Like, it depends on the car. Like
Right.
these Tesla trucks, they're like tanks.
Right.
Like, they're like, it's like almost like solid metal.
Come on, man. And it's like, yo, what do we really have here? We have cars now that are well built. Let me not say well built, because I always have a problem with a lot of the builds. But they have airbags everywhere, man.
Yeah.
You really got to be $120 in it in order to really crash and die behind one of these things, in my opinion. But I could be wrong.
No, I'll put it like this. Cars are made, it's not like cars are made with like solid metal like back in the day, right? Like where there's no crumple zones and like you'll fly
Right.
through the windshield. Like my Genesis has about like 10, almost like 8 to 10 airbags.
Right.
So like I remember I crashed into something and the frame was fine.
Right.
It was nothing. It was just the bumper was just cracked because the parts are made to crumble. Like the body parts, like the bumpers, they're made to bend and crack and
Right.
like fall into pieces to put a new one on.
And see, this is my problem. It's like, and when you think about it, right? AAA performed this crash test, but with what?
A Central probably.
They probably did it with a Sentra. See, this is my problem. This is how you could always, when they say they've done tests and, studies have shown, it's very easy to sway a study.
Crash a Volvo at 60, it'll be fine.
Come on, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or better yet, right? Or better yet, crash a car that is made this year.
It's gonna be fine.
This is what I'm saying, man. They're not telling. This is what I mean. They're not saying the truth on a
As
lot.
many Q60 and Q50 dudes macking,
Come on.
and they're still
And they
walking
walking away.
unscathed.
They walking away from these accidents.
That's why you can't find a red sport no more. They all crash.
You ain't lying. I did run across one.
A red sport?
Yeah. And
wow.
I was thinking about Grace 2.0. But then I said, you know what? Nah, we'll hold it down. We'll make the car work. But we got so many other different things to talk about here. Shout to Dez, the nose hunter. He's in the building.
Crikey, mates.
Early. You know how we get down. And for our last, this one is actually interesting. And like I said, y'all know when we stop the music, you already know it's going to be interesting. The EU, the European Parliament, is going to allow low-volume car makers to continue making gas-powered cars past 2035. Whoa. Now, before you clap, right, what's a low-volume car to you?
A low-volume car is like a Opel Astra, basically like a because like I was in Portugal last year, so these cars like Seat, like a Seat Ibiza, those type of cars that nobody cares about, basically.
So what if I told you that this is the way that Lamborghini and Ferrari is gonna stick around? Watch, they making the room already, and that
they're gonna make affordable cars.
No, it doesn't say affordable. It says low volume.
Oh, low volume is Ferrari.
Meaning
McLaren.
We can only allowed to sell 1,000 of them a year.
McLaren.
I'm telling you.
Special edition McLaren's special edition. But see, this whole climate, I'm not saying climate thing. This whole thing is going to be about the rich. They're going to make all the poor people get EVs, and then all the people who have money can have cars with gas power. Guess what? All the low volume cars is a special RS, 911. It's going to be cars that they know it's going to be low. They say low volume is all about rich people. It's gonna be about who got money, and you have a nice car. If you're rich, and if you're poor, you better get this Kia or Hyundai Ioniq, whatever.
Start saving money. Shout to Dez. He's already in here. He comes in here. He's already on the wave, because that's where it's going, y'all. I believe, and you know what? Whenever we do this, we like to, we don't want to fry brains in here, but this is what it is.
Limited car with Porsche fuel.
Come on.
The Porsche gas, the synthetic gas. Every doesn't have synthetic. That's why I was talking to shout out to Phil Goggles Pisano. We was talking about last night about this synthetic gas. Synthetic gas is the future, but synthetic gas is only going to be for people who are rich.
But here's the deal: cars in general are only going to be for people who's rich. Think about this.
Yeah.
And this is, and now when it hit me when I saw this, and we're talking about the EU, we're talking about Europe. These are the people who are starting this ban.
Yeah.
China has already, their ban on gas-powered cars starts in 2025. They're more than ready. They have so many different electric vehicle car companies out there. But now Europe was the one that was adopting. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to make sure we ain't have no more gas-powered. And
listen
right?
to what I'm saying about that 2025. See, I was saw Phil. He was like, you notice that Volvo slid the goalpost from 2022 to 2025. See, this whole EV thing. See, people are pushing back so hard. They're like, wait a minute, hold on. That's a ton of diesel to make lithium, cobalt, and zinc to mine for that. I said it's not eco-friendly, and then also the fire. Now, only thing it takes is the EPA to say this, or the safety, right? They'll say the fires for EVs, since there is not a way to put them out with the extinguisher, they have safety concerns.
Here's the deal. Safety concerns is one thing.
Yeah.
They trying to make sure that the rich is only the ones that's driving. And we talked about this last
smart
week.
cities. Smart cities is for mass transit. New York is turning into a smart city. So they're going to say, well, all right, you can't afford to live here, but we're going to make micro apartments, and we're going to have everything accessible and EV buses.
Like Japan or like China.
But it's not going to work in a big country like America, smart cities, because number one, you have too many people disabled. Number two, like, you're not going to have people who can't walk or flood the buses.
It's true.
It's not going to work.
It's true.
Because you're going to tell old people, well, what about accessoride?
Well, I'll tell you this. When it comes to the EU to allow low volume cars, you got low volume car makers to continue making gas powered cars. That tells you that if you want a gas powered car, and what have we been saying? The one thing about the automotive community is that they know we are willing to pay for what we have. They go up on the tickets on the speed limit because they know we're willing to pay. They go up on the tickets for red light cameras. They know we're willing to pay. The inspection, we are willing to pay. The registration.
Guess what? You want to know the trick behind that? I had my guy up here, Spence, not Spence, my other guy. He came up here and we were talking about credit and all that stuff. You notice that all those speed cameras and all that stuff. I'm gonna tell you, like, I had 26 points in tickets during the pandemic. The pandemic saved me from having my license taken away. They dismissed half of them, and they would rather for you to stay on the road and pay more, and then send those red light tickets to collections. They send those. They send those tickets to collections.
Oh yeah, they do.
And guess what?
What's that?
You can hit up. You can write a letter to collections and tell them. They say, "Do you have the original signature for the debt? Are you the original owner of the debt?" And they'll say, "No. Oops, sorry to help you."
Wow.
See, this is what I'm saying. They don't tell you this. They want you. See, they want you to confirm that you owe them money. So now you got to collect. The city already got insurance on that.
Yes, they do.
So now you don't pay it. They sell it for 30% to the collection agency. They're gonna do, and just like we saw my cars, they're gonna have car subscriptions. So yeah, if you're poor, guess what? You don't have to buy the low volume car anymore. If you want the low volume, you're gonna get a subscription like Volvo's doing.
Right. Well, check this out. And Hyundai's doing it too. Hyundai's doing the subscription. If you want to just rent an EV, they'll give it to you with insurance and everything.
Because they know nobody's gonna buy one.
$800 a month.
Because nobody's gonna buy one.
Right. They know that. So check this out. It says we all know that 2035 is when the EU is going to forbid the sale of internal combustion engine-powered passenger cars and vans. The latest step in the process was to approve a carve-out for automakers that register fewer than 1,000 cars per year. Basically, every independent hypercar maker on the continent plus Bugatti would be allowed to sell 1,000 units annually. The vote was closer than expected, with 340 votes in favor, 279 against, and 21 people who abstained, meaning just 40 people in the parliament made the provision possible. We're sure we haven't heard the end of it either. Italy and its super sports car makers have publicly stated their desires for an exemption to the ban. Remember, Ferrari and Lamborghini, because they make the V12, said that this is part of Italy's history and we should be able to make it.
I think they're going to be pushed back. I don't think it's going to last. I think they're going to fold. I think they're going to fold when it comes to like a lot of these executives not being able to get money. 1,000 cars is nothing. 1,000 cars is not going to make the profit. They sell just to buy a loan. They sell 1,000. They sell 1,000.
But it does. 1,000 cars is going to make the profit when you can set the market because it's only 1,000 being built.
Well, they're going to just hyperinflate it.
Yeah.
So there'll be like $2 million McLaren, top McLaren.
And they're going to be like this. You know what? You want the car or not? Because if not, there's a sheik in Abu Dhabi that said he'll give me 10 times what I'm selling this car for right now.
I still think that like there will be little companies that will pop up, like companies like Noble and these other little other companies TVR is a good example, but TVR doesn't exist no more. I think.
Well, look,
TVR still does. Somebody
this.
bought TVR. Yeah.
If you Ferrari and you're trying to figure out how to sell 1,000 Ferraris to only rich people, what do? You take 1,000 of those Ferraris that you build and then you rebrand and rename.
Or you can have companies like it had an American engine, Panos. You have companies like Panos that don't make mass produce. They make a few hundred cars a year. So they'll have those. Hey, you want a small block V8? Okay, we got small block V8. So people that's willing to pay. There's always a loophole. But
this is what I'm saying. At the end of the day, this loophole is big.
Kit cars, loopholes.
This is a big thing. This is just going to show that the electric vehicles and stuff are going to be for the people who can't afford the gas-powered car. They are going to use this to now separate. And they know that car guys will pay. Shout to everybody who's listening and paying attention. Shout to those who dropped a like. Shout for those who's listening. Shout to those who subscribe to the YouTube. Shout to Seneca. What's popping? We appreciate you. It's definitely crazy out here, man. They are doing what they want to do.
I rode in Portugal on an EV bus.
How was that?
It's strange because you remember, electric is all torque.
Yeah.
That makes sense if you're not going that far.
Right.
My question is, that doesn't work in cities like New York because you got so much traffic and those batteries get very hot. Imagine going to stop and go traffic EV bus. It got a lot of torque.
Yes.
It's quiet. It is super quiet, but all I can say is that I think they're going to get hot. and I think it's just hyper expensive. It's good to show off.
I think we're going to see, man. It's going to be interesting to say the least, man. It's going to be interesting to say the least. I can't wait to see how they spin this, because if they're going to do it, the United States is going to do it.
Of course.
And they're going to say, you know what? We only going to let them sell 1,000 of them, and they're going to set them off.
Let me tell you something with these Teslas. There's going to be a lot of dudes with these Teslas. They're going to find a way to put a damn LS swap in those ones that broke. All the Teslas that broke. Where are they going to put them? They're not. You can't crush them like cans.
So we talked about that the other week.
Yeah.
So now insurance companies are not covering them, and insurance companies are writing them off.
Yeah.
So now they writing them off and they putting them in the lot, and who's going to take them? You think Tesla not going to take them back and try to fix? Yo, it's a hustle going on out here. LS swap for the win. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
LS Tesla actually looks good.
Yo, with that being said, man, we going to play some ride music. If it gets play in the ride, it gets play on Rally Radio. Shout to Big Yellow. She making a lot of moves around the city. Hopefully we could get on the show to interview her. She got a lot of moves. She was just with DJ Self. She did She did a couple things on Hot 97. She's been on Shade 4-5. And hopefully we could get her here on Rally Radio to sit down and talk to yours truly, the bearded one, S.I. Sean. And we got Dez, the nose hunt in the building.
Crikey.
We're going to play a little bit of this. And when we come back, you know how we get down. We're going to jump right into it.
It's Tech Talk.
And Tech Talk is going to be interesting, y'all. Y'all know what it is. It's the bearded one here, one half of Rally Radio. Let's go. Y'all know where to find us, man. Holla at us. Might get a little reckless. You might want to take the kids out. It ain't that crazy, though, but I love her song, Big Yellow.
Big Yellow, Big Yellow, Big Yellow. It's Big Yellow, not the little one. Big Draco, not the little gun. You look up to your mans, that's my little son. Try to play it for a pussy, I ain't one of them. Nah, no indirects, I was on flex. No views involved, no blue check. You was in my, I got all text. Still got it on me after coat check. Move, bitch, shit, I been hot. Don't compare me to no rapper unless it's Big Pop. Any feature that I'm on, bitches get dropped. I'm still a bad bitch in my flip-flops. Hi, kid, you wanna know violence? I can teach you how to grab a stick and hold it like violence. Hit a sirens. Killing with silence, I'm on timing, I'm sliding. I'm hitting they head like it's a migraine. Straight up out that boogie down. And I got my hoodie down. Feeling like a boogie now. Why they all up on me now? These shooters when I move around. That's how I maneuver now. Keep a bunch of blue faces. Like I'm moving now. I weigh the 40 in the air, I bet I move the crowd. Taking shots in my circle, it get roundabout. I'm the hottest in the city and nothing to talk about. It's a body, it's a kill, they gon' chalk it out. It's Big Yellow. Told you what the fucking time it is. It's yellow season, yellow season, yellow season.
Woo, woo, woo. Like I said, I hope you got the kids out the building for that one. She did talk a little reckless, but she Big Yellow, not the little one, early. I don't know what she mean by that. Hopefully we can get in here and she can tell us. So we're going to have on the show, man. But shout to everybody listening, paying attention. That was Ride Music. If it gets play in a ride, it gets play on Rally Radio. If you got ride music that you want to submit, all you got to do is email it to us at gutterballrally@gmail.com. Gutterballrally, as you can see at the bottom. Unless you want me to go into it, GUTTERBALLY@gmail.com. You know what it is. But for right now, you know how me and the bearded one gonna do. You know how Daz, we about to jump right in. Here we go.
It's Tech Talk with Pop the Bearded One and S.I. Sean.
All right. We are in the building. Shout to S.I. I know he out there listening.
Shout, he's in France. Opel. Renault.
Opel.
I'm not gonna lie though, I love Europe, man, because all the cars is manual.
Early. Or you walking.
Yeah. But I will stick an Opel wagon and manual.
So, first thing we're going to talk about today, Bentley's W12 engine will reach the end of the line in 2024. Now, this is a V Twizzy. Well, not a V. W12, not a V2.
Good old Volkswagen. One head, Pause.
But you already know what it is. Introduced more than 20 years ago, the Volkswagen Group's unusual 12-cylinder 6-liter W12 will be replaced with a V8 and V6 hybrid production. Bentley will end production of the W12 engine next year. The Betor serves as a send-off for the engine that has a version with 740 horsepower. The Continental GT, Flying Spur, and Bentiaga are also currently offered with the twin-turbo 6-liter W12. Wow. So they shutting it down, man.
Well, I'm going to put it like this. Talking about Bentley, it is what it is. It hasn't been a Bentley in, 20 years?
What do you mean?
It's a Volkswagen engine.
They've been putting them in there.
I know, but still Volkswagen.
So you don't trust it?
It's not that I don't trust it. It's just that, okay, like, who cares? Like, if like I said, like, even me, I'm not saying that it's not unauthentic, but it's still, okay, it's just an expensive Volkswagen.
That's what you think, for real?
I really do feel that way. I'm a purist at heart. Just like with the situation with Volvo and Ford, I got a 5-cylinder. You know what I mean? I had a 5-cylinder. It was cool.
Right.
But then when they came on inline 6, put it next R. It's a Ford motor. It's a Ford inline 6. No matter what you put, it's still a Ford.
But you know what, though? I would say different with this. I remember the first time I seen this motor, it was I believe it was a Volkswagen Phaeton. You remember those?
I remember that. Trash.
So I can't say that I never drove one.
Yeah, but the reason why the car was discontinued because the car had tons of problems. It was super expensive. It's a great car inside, but it's junk.
You feel like the
Volkswagen Phaeton was trash.
Wow.
It was pure junk.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, for all y'all Volkswagen drivers, he's sitting right here. His name is Nose Hunter, though.
And
he know how to fight.
And the W8 Passat was garbage too. That 6-yard walked all over that car.
Oh nah, he talking foul. This is what we call vehicular treason. What he's doing right now.
But no,
we can't do that.
But I still think, even though I don't think it's all that, they still should preserve the big engines, man, because we have noticed. Okay, you downsize, you got more emissions because a big car and a small motor has to work 2 times harder and pump out more exhaust. More turbos got to spool. More exhaust got to get made. More spark. More, you know what I mean? Like, it's not getting rid, like that what you say, like the Ventaga,
yes.
Right? It doesn't have to rev that much to move.
No.
You can cruise at 1,500 RPM in that car and
you're going to be moving it
fast.
Well, here's the deal. Bentley views the Betor as a send-off for the W12, as the model features the most powerful version of the engine with a new confirmed output of 740 horsepower, 737 pound-foot of torque. However, it's already sold out.
Yeah.
And the company warns interested customers that few order slots remain for other Bentley models equipped with the W12. So here we go. Another engine going down. They're gonna put out the flagship model, the send-off model, and it's gonna send it through the roof.
I'm sorry, but nobody's paying for a V6. V6 is not refined. V motors are not, to me, V motors are not refined.
Can't say that though.
A 6-cylinder?
Because the Ford GT, sold with an Eco 6 in it, with the Turbo 6 in it, and it sold.
But for a luxury car, no, that motor wouldn't be.
I mean, for a luxury car, you can't sell nobody a luxury car with a 6 in it.
But a V6 is just not an inline 6. Maybe in one of those Bentley, if Bentley made an inline 6 or like something like that,
right.
I could justify it in a luxury car. But a V6 is never going to be truly balanced. It's not a balanced motor. It's just like 5 is not balanced. You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's still rough. It's not. That's why. What do you think Mercedes came back with inline 6?
Right.
Smooth. It's the most intelligent thing they did. V6, nobody cared about. Those old C300s with the V6, there's nothing. It feels like a Maxima when you drive it.
I will say this, man. I will say this because I could never knock a 6, though. I've seen 6s do work. And
I love 6.
Don't let S.I. Sean hear that because he'd be like, yo, I know you ain't talking bad about my Supra motors. The inline 6.
He's got to let that motor. He's got to let that motor go.
Listen, I'm not. Listen,
he need to leave that motor alone.
Listen, I'll say this for the
most
part.
He need to leave that motor alone.
For the most part, I don't even get into it. I'll be like, yo, go ahead, man. He love him. I can't say anything about him. But I will say this though. As far as putting a 6-cylinder in a luxury car, no, it's not gonna work. And like I said, this is one of the reasons.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be a big display. Like for instance. Not a 3-liter inside of a Bentley, But like maybe a 4.5 liter or 4.3 liter inline six, something with a big displacement, smooth, a lot of torque, maybe twin turbo. It's got to be worth buying.
I mean, like, listen.
Got inline six and buses.
If I
and
can't
trucks.
get the 12, I want the 8. And I feel a lot of people feel that way. You know, at the end of the day,
V8s have gotten better.
V8s have gotten,
way,
especially European V8s.
It's not like I'm sorry. Like if you put like an LS in a Bentley or something like that, it's still nasty. It's still rough.
It's
still go.
Who doesn't love it? If you gotta be a car person to really enjoy that. But
yeah,
you all right about that. I mean, it just remains to be seen.
I saw a Mustang. I saw a Coyote motor in an old Bentley. I did not like it.
I loved it.
You put Hormel chili on caviar. That's the equivalent of putting that type of engine inside a car like that. It's not refined no more.
He said Hormel, but I think if you're doing a swap like that, you're not doing it. You're doing it for that reason. Yeah, you're not doing it because you want a Bentley. Because if that's the case, you could have just went and got something that was smooth.
It's like the dude that put a 2J in a Rolls Royce for what? You took a better motor out and put it for what?
Nah,
you went backwards.
No, he did it for looks. A lot of the times we see a lot of these other motor swaps and things going on, you already know it's for looks. Because to take a 2J and put it in a car that's 2 to 3 times probably heavier, or 2 times heavier than the car that it came out of.
The motor's screaming, trying to spool a turbo.
This is what I'm saying.
Parking space.
But at the end of the day, he did it for looks.
Clout.
He did it for looks. Hey, listen, everybody, look, do anything for clout. Do anything for clout. They're serious. What it is, I would just hate to see another big motor falling to the side. What else we got here? And now, so look, the Audi TT final edition has been revealed. Now
that just hurts my heart.
That hurts. The Audi TT is no more after 2023. The final edition marks the end of the line. The 2023 is the coupe's 25th anniversary. Audi is marking the end of the TT with one last hurrah, the TT final edition. The new TT final edition goes on sale in March 2023 in the UK, priced from 41,910 euros. That's crazy. You can either spec it, you can either have the 40 TFSI, the 45 TFSI, or the hot TTS model in final edition trim. Each version of the TT final edition features a black styling pack, which is crazy. And then there's also the 25-year history involved in it. It said it also comes with the final edition mini navigation plus a 3-year subscription to Audi Connect services. We already know. We've seen one of these dominate the streets in NY.
Yeah.
So we know what they're about. But when you think about the history of the TT, what's the first time you ever seen one?
Audi TT, back in like 99, 98.
Okay, what did you think of it when you first saw it?
I thought it was cool. I thought it was futuristic. It came with manual gearbox, all-wheel drive. I felt like, okay, I always thought Audi was kind of boring.
Okay.
So I thought it was a good spin against the cars like the Porsche Boxer. You know, it was in that class.
Okay.
I thought it was a good thing. I just thought that they ran out. I didn't like I'm not gonna lie. I didn't like the early TTs. I didn't like them.
Really?
I didn't think it was that exciting. I thought they were heavy.
The first time I saw them, I liked them. I liked the fact that it was a roadster because you didn't really see too many roadsters at that time where it was like, wow, this thing looks cool, convertible. Obviously, the power, I felt it was underpowered.
That's what
I didn't feel like, it didn't really have the power.
It was like 250 horsepower.
But at that time in '99, that's pretty bad.
It was it was pretty good because remember the Porsche Boxer was like 250.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You may be able to walk up on something, and not for nothing. I believe that ultimately, a lot of the
But I see the Maxima smack it, a 2000 Maxima smack it. So
yeah, but we talking about at that time a 2000 Maxima had how much horsepower? Almost
225. No, 225.
225.
3 liter. I see a 3 liter Maxima right here, right next to it.
And what year?
It was in 2000 Maxima, right next to the Audi TT. It wasn't the fastest car roadster for what it was.
But at the end of the day, you got a Maxima economy front wheel drive family car. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even care at that. But I'd be like, you know what? To me,
but being neck and neck in a race is not good.
I mean, but now you got to look at the driver.
The car wasn't that fast.
You got to look at the driver though. You talking about an all-wheel drive, 200-something horsepower car versus a front-wheel drive, 225 horsepower
Automatic. Just stomp the gas and go.
Okay, he was automatic.
Stomp the gas and stomp the gas. They both like this. It's like, I wasn't impressed by the TT.
I liked it. I liked the styling of it. I really, like me, I have to fall in love with the car visually, and then you could give me the specs.
Yeah.
I would say that visually the car was beautiful, and it needed to be refined.
But they waited too long to refine it, right? Like, I think the sales would have been better if they just, like, remember, they didn't give the car a facelift until, like, what, 2008?
Yeah.
So the car, you had the same car since, like, 99, all the way to, like, 2008. Like,
yeah, but you can't say that. The GTR looked the same, too.
with this one, like, I mean, but that.
The GTR looked the same since its inception.
But remember, that was
R35, rather.
The R35 is the first legitimate Skyline we've got in America. The original GTR, right? GTR. So, do you have to really change the look of the car? No, it's a car that most people can't afford. So, I mean, it's kind of like this, right? Like, look at, what is it, like the Aventador. Mm-hmm. Styling changing Aventador too much. Like, you know, like it's, you don't look at Aventador and say, man, wait, those are for lower quality, lower class cars. Your styling needs to change.
They didn't change it. They just got rid of it.
Well, they got rid of it, but
replaced it with the Huracan.
But even the styling with that car is not that much.
But it's hard to compare Lamborghini and.
No, but I'm just saying, like, when you're talking about like the GTR, just like Porsche styling is not like Porsche.
Porsche has been the same. All of their cars look.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so when you say the R35, they're trying to be like Porsche. They're like, okay, we're going to give you a little bit different front bumper, a little bit different lights, or make it a little bit.
I don't know. According to Phil, they could have changed the body style a while. Like, it looks the same to them. They said nothing changed. Yeah, he said nothing.
But it's selling.
I said, that's what I say. At the end of the day, it's just sad to see the TT, walk away.
Are we still going to keep the 5-cylinder Audi?
Yeah.
RS3 at least.
I believe those are overseas though. They're not bringing them over here.
We don't have any 5-cylinders here, right? Mm-mm. No, only the TTRS. That's it.
And they're about to wipe that clean.
Damn, you can't even get a 5-cylinder nowadays in America.
So not only that, it looks like there's a little bit more information coming from out of Europe. They're also killing the VR6 officially. Now the VR6, in my opinion, it came in a couple different cars that I used to love.
It's a motor with identity crisis.
Corrado. Huh?
It's a motor with identity crisis. There's no one to be a V motor or inline 6. It's like a hybrid. So
really?
It's got one head and it's a V. It's a weird motor.
It's powerful though.
It has a good sound. The firing order in those cars sound great, but it's just heavy.
So you okay with those motors going away?
It had its run.
See, that's my thing. We can't, but even if it had its run, little do you like. They're getting rid of a lot of different motors.
What is it being replaced with?
Nothing. Just a V6.
V6 is probably more efficient.
So you would rather a V6 than a VR6?
Twin turbo V6 than a VR6.
You would rather that?
Sound-wise, no. Practicality, yes.
I mean, but what's practicality? If I was thinking about practicality, I wouldn't get a VR6. If I was thinking about practicality, I'd get a 4-cylinder SUV and call it a day.
But you got to understand, is the average consumer care about VR6? No. Average VR person to buy a VR6 car, that's like in a truck or something, they're going to be like, they don't know the difference between 6. Okay, you got a 6? Okay, cool. 6,
well, I'll tell you what. It looks like at the end of the day, emissions also killed this car.
Yeah.
So that sucks. At the end of the day, one of the most classic cars that I could think of that I always wanted came with a VR6, and that's the one I wanted. I wanted a Corrado really bad.
They sound great. I mean, it's a great sound. I wouldn't mind having one.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, nowadays, technology got so much. You got so many V6s that will spank that motor. V6s have evolved to a whole level that a VR motor just can't.
But we talking about a time where we know that. There's other V6s that's out, but it's iconic. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I love the 5-cylinder, but when Volvo got rid of it, I wasn't upset. I was just like, damn, like, I wish I kept doing it, but I realized it's not a balanced motor. I know I own 2 of them. I had 2 Rs. I know that it's not, you're not buying it for practicality, you're buying it for straight torque and linear top end power. And that's all you buy a 5-cylinder for.
Right.
But it's not, but they break.
Man, all cars break. All motors break. I blew a B16 on the highway.
How you do that?
Over revving it.
Okay, well, yeah.
Over revving it, they all break. All of the motors can go at one point.
How quick and how bad it breaks, it depends.
Yeah, and I guess the power numbers you're really getting out of it at the end of the day, what makes you really want it.
Yeah.
So, the last thing we're going to talk about in our Tech Talk is Germany's treasure Autobahn hits a bump in the road. It looks like because of more emissions, they're actually doing more EV cars, less gas-powered cars. Do they need to have the unlimited speed limit that they have? Again.
Yeah, why not? I mean, who cares? And how fast most of the EVs going to go?
So you would be okay with them putting a speed limit on it?
It doesn't need a speed limit because because the thing about it, like, it didn't have no speed limit with slower cars. More modern cars are faster than cars back in the day.
Right.
So, like, why are you worried about all of a sudden, we got to put a speed limit? For what? The EVs ain't going nowhere.
But this is the point. Now this is more changing because of EVs. Think about other roads that are very famous for being driven on that they're going to do this to.
But it doesn't matter with the EV because even you top out a damn EV, who cares? Like it's like okay, like there shouldn't be an issue. They have instant torque to get on the highway and get it pushing.
Right.
So I don't think it's just unnecessary. They're just trying to flex control, and that's all that is. Freedom and control. EVs have nothing to do with emissions. It's all about freedom, lack of choice, and full control. I don't like you, I'm gonna turn your car off.
This is exactly what they're going to do. It says electric vehicles require good roads, but because their horsepower and top speeds are often lower, they require less superhighway and more charging stations on well-kept roads. And e-cars' high speed, while impressive, still generally pales to the motorheads I see on the Autobahn pushing 140 miles per hour. Also, with limited resources, the burning question in Germany at the moment is whether tens of billions of euros earmarked for new and broader Autobahn wouldn't do more good building out cycling highways like in the Netherlands, or an improved high-speed, densely networked rail service. So they saying instead of fixing it, or instead of doing anything with it, they could do other things. I believe personally, when you look at it, when you look at the EV market, this is what's going to happen to a lot of roads. They're like, you know what? We don't need this. We don't need the speed limit to be this high. They're going to do it.
Well, I'm going to put it like this. I think everything is going to fall apart. I mean, look at everything that, like, they're mandating cars. Look at all the past mandates that have not worked anymore. Like, the EV global warming thing is a big farce. And once people start realizing, hey, there's going to be people underground that's going to keep exposing, like, people who are like scientists, and more people are saying, no, it's not making the planet, it's making the planet worse. No, the grid, we don't need more coal. So you're going to have we need tree huggers that's going to come out and say, hey, no, just like the vegan thing, right? When people talk about, all plant-based meat, I'm like, that's a lot of killing of animals, a lot of pesticides, a lot of more. So there's going to be, like, and you ever notice that whole talk has been calming down.
Right.
So the EV thing, when Porsche comes out with synthetic gas, you're going to say, hey, look, it doesn't leave a footprint.
Right.
Now what you're going to do?
But
now it's classism now. Now they're going to say, people don't take well to discrimination because a lot of minority countries and dark countries cannot afford EVs.
How about the hood can't afford? This is what we were talking about.
It's going to be, but now they're digging themselves a hole to making themselves be an oppressive, showing oppression.
Right.
Like, okay, well, look, you can't have a car because you're dark. How does that sound on a world scale? How are you going to go to all these meetings around the world and say, he's Indian, he can't afford a car. He's from Africa, he can't afford it.
But this is exactly what they're doing. Even, like I said, it's going to be a class warfare in general here. It's going to happen. This is one of the reasons. I don't even think people thinking about that. Think about it. Like I said, when we cruise around some of the worst neighborhoods we have in New York City, you think in 10 years they're going to be ready to go EV there? No, they're not thinking about them.
See, they got a backup plan. You know what that backup plan is?
Mass transit.
Nope.
What is it?
Hydrogen.
Oh, they're going to use...
they're going to... They already know this shit is going to fall apart. Excuse my language. Mm-hmm. They know it's going to fall apart, and now they're going to say, well, you know what? But they're going to use hydrogen to control you still. They're going to say, you know what? For the poor people, you can have hydrogen conversion kits for your car. We're going to have that and synthetic gas. We made a mistake, guys, just like this whole... Even with the pandemic. We didn't know.
Even with E85. With E85. Not E85. Well, E85. They finding out that adding that much didn't make the atmosphere any better.
But guess what?
Flex fuel. They was like, nah, it's supposed to be better. It's not.
Biodiesel, flex fuel.
Yeah, it's not. They know that.
But they know that they're going to have, see, it can be a trick too. They can be doing that just to inflate, to save a surplus of gasoline. And then when they release a whole surplus of it, they're going to spike the price of it. And be like, hey, you know what? We was wrong about global warming. They already made trillions of dollars. And they'll sit back and say, you can have your car. You can have a V8. We got synthetic gas now, even though there's no proof that it burns, makes more emissions, or it does or doesn't.
Nobody knows. It's going to be interesting.
But hydrogen right now, Hyundai, Elon Musk too. Remember Elon Musk got it out. He said, I'll never go hydrogen. Now all of a sudden he has a hydrogen-powered car that he's in the works.
That guy, don't get me started with Cobra Commander over there. Man. That guy's Cobra Commander. With that being said, that is our tech talk. We're going to move right in. We got a whole nother segment coming up. Y'all ready for this? Here we go.
Driver's etiquette. Because sometimes you got to get this off your chest.
All right. Shout to the listener. He said hydrogen fuel is what the Ukraine crap is about. It's why your boy Joe blew up the pipeline twice. And that's not for nothing. That's coming out too. But we'll talk into that another time. Right? What we have today for our driver's etiquette. This is actually going to be an interesting one.
Impeach.
What's the furthest you've ever driven or gone to acquire car parts or to fix anything on your car or to get a car? What's the furthest you've ever gone? Like, yo, all right, I'm going. That's it.
The boonies of Connecticut.
Wow.
The back of Connecticut, where you could take a boat and go end up in the Hamptons. That's how far. If you take a boat going south, that's how far in Connecticut.
Wow.
For the Volvo S60R, for my mother's one.
Really?
Yep. Where like the country, like they eat deer out there.
I will say this. The reason, when I came up with this, one of the reasons why it is like I thought about this as a driver's etiquette. Just recently dealing with my CRX. A lot of people seen, obviously I have my Type R and I have my 1988 Honda CRX. So I just recently started piecing it apart. The videos will be up on YouTube too. For those who haven't subscribed, you can subscribe. You could definitely find Gutter Ball Rally. You got to do is look us up. We're going to make sure we put that in. Shout out to the Facebook youth. He said, from New York to Virginia to pick up 4 motors for what one costs. That is exactly what I'm talking about. That is what I mean. At the end of the day, a lot of times New York, it makes you feel like, yo, you just got to pay this price, right? You stuck here. You like where we are anyway. But if you go further out, you'll probably find a better deal. And, I mean, I've went far to acquire. I remember, shout to Ace. I know he's listening. Shout to Shy. I know he's on the moon. If he's listening, I went all the way upstate. And I don't even know where.
You probably went to Adirondacks.
Probably
like 8-hour
mountains.
trip.
Yeah, it was a minute.
Yeah, you was up there in the Canadian border.
We went all the way upstate, and I went up there to get a rear disc conversion for my 4-door at the time. And you couldn't find one for cheaper than $250. Dudes was wanting some bread. And I found this one for $100. He had everything, too. He had the rear disc conversion, the trailing arms. He even had the proportioning valve. And he was like, yo, I'll let it go for $100 if you come get it. I said, all right, you know how we do. I got money, I'll go get it, right? So I jump in the car. I get Shy to go with me. And when I dialed up the address, it was like, 2 hours or something. I was like, wow. But I'm thinking it's because of traffic.
By Albany.
It was definitely up there. Yo, we started driving, and I was like, yo, this is really far. Like, we finally get up there.
Up in the woods.
Yeah, we finally get up there, and the guy lived on a roundabout. I'll never forget it. And it's like he had a hill that went down. It was like a roundabout, but his house was on a hill. Yeah. But you had to go down the hill.
Yeah. Man,
we go down the hill to get this stuff, man. This dude had a plethora of parts in his garage. He was like, yo, whatever else you want. Boom, 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 boom. I was glad I went, but I think I spent what I didn't spend on the parts, I spent in gas.
You spent about $60 in gas.
I probably spent at that time, it was cheaper. Gas was like not even $2.
You put the 87 in there and put the octane booster on top.
You already know. Well, I had drove Grace for that one. I had drove the Infinity to get to that one. So it was definitely far. But
I'm putting 87 in the bottle of octane booster.
Yeah, man. I went far. I went far. The other time that I really went super far, and S.I. Sean could verify this, to get my 1988 Honda CRX, I found it on Facebook Marketplace, which I wouldn't recommend people doing right now. People going on Facebook Marketplace, setting you up to rob you and kill you. But before we even get into mine, shout to the Facebook user. He said, my OEM metal bag lover. I drove to Maryland. I was so hyped I got stopped by DTs for speeding. They looked in the back and saw my smile and cut me loose. Yo, that's a drive.
That's crazy.
And also, he said, we also got another one. He said, second longest was going to West Bubble for a full 3-inch exhaust. New Jersey is crazy. Why? Yeah, you could definitely, I realized New Jersey was huge when I went to ACO Raceway. And I was like, why is it so far? It's like 2 hours.
That's the same thing I'm saying. Like with Connecticut, like people don't realize Connecticut, like it's like if you took Long Island and you made it double.
Yeah.
Like if you took Long Island, like put 2 Long Islands back to back in length, and that's Connecticut.
That's crazy. I said, look. So I've definitely done that. Overnight, me and S.I. Sean, I hit the guy up on Facebook Marketplace. He had a 1988 Honda CRX. Now, where I was looking for one up here, they wanted $3,000, $3,500. And I was like, that's just too much, right? I started searching. I made the search wider. I made it like, anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I ran into a black one in North Carolina. And I said, man, I want to go get it. So, I spoke to the guy. He said, listen, if you're serious about coming to get the car, I'll take it off of Facebook Marketplace. Right? I said, okay. So he did that.
Yeah.
Considered it sold. I had to go get it that weekend. I rented a U-Haul. First, I drove my car down there. I rented a one-way U-Haul back with a car hitch. Drove down there and came back in 24 hours. Shout to S.I. Sean, because if he wasn't with me, I wouldn't have been able to make it back. He drove my car back, and I drove the U-Haul with the CRX hooked to it. Altogether, it took 24 hours, and after that, S.I. Sean helped me out by taking my 4-door EF sedan off my hands.
That's no.
That was like
that's crazy to have an EF sedan, bro. You know how hard it is to get an EF nowadays?
Yeah, and right now he got one. I would say that the body's not in great shape at all, but he was going to use it. He said he's going to use it for to get around point to point, and it's manual.
I couldn't own a Honda. I would put a J series in an EF. I'd be an idiot like that. I would put a J series, a 3.5 J series into an EF.
Nah, that's a lot more work than you think.
No, I'm talking about that's a lot of hammering. That's a lot of banging. A lot of like.
And it's a lot of at that point, the car is worth it. Like, what can you do to it at that? Like, it's going to be a drag car.
A naturally aspirated 3.5
drag car.
EF drag car. Yeah. Run 10 seconds, gut it.
That's as far as you're going to get with it. But I would say shout to Phil. Here go Phil. He said, the Jersey Delaware bought a 4 set of tires to PA for a turbo kit, a motor, and rear diff. My Mustang and my boys SS came from, see what I'm saying? A lot of times you got to travel for these parts. It just goes to show how dedicated you are to what you do when you're willing to go that far for your car parts. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I've slayed the dragon to go get some stuff. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think about so many times where I went way out of bounds to go get something. So it really brought me back. It was like, you know what? That really goes to show.
I was going to go to Jersey too for a Volvo 740 wagon and stick.
Wow.
I wanted it. It was red. It was red just like my 60R. And I said, nah, I'm not going to drive to the bottom of Jersey by Atlantic City.
And you didn't cop?
Nah, I didn't buy it. I changed my mind about it because I was like, I could probably find one back because he wanted $2,800 for it. And I wasn't really paying $2,800 for the wagon. But I knew it was rare.
Yeah. Shout to S.I. Sean. I went with him to Jersey. I forget. It was by Perth Amboy. I think it was a little bit further than that. I'm not sure, which is not that far.
No, Perth Amboy is a little bit south by Trenton.
But we had to we went out there to get a 1987 Toyota Supra. Manual turbo, white.
7M solid.
7M solid. But he has so many different goodies on this car.
Yeah.
Not only did he have the 7M on, still in there, still intact, it was manual.
Yeah.
So that R154 transmission was gold. But Sean, SI only wanted the transmission. The guy was like, nah, you got to buy the whole car. So SI Sean had to buy the whole car to get that transmission for his 2J build that he was doing. And I'll never forget it. We got out there. He had the the Pony Super wheels. Oh man,
That's a classic.
he was no matter of fact. Excuse me, they were the JDM ones.
Did he
So they was a
sell,
little
did he
small.
sell the chassis? Did he sell the front?
Well, to be honest, the reason why he was selling the whole car, the reason he was selling the whole car, is because the body was horrid.
Okay.
It was rust by the strut tower bar. It was no good.
Why you think I sold my Supra? I didn't want it to rot. I sold my Supra with a blown turbo, 91. I sold it for like $7,700.
Listen, let it go. If
And
that's
I,
what
and,
they,
I, and he do a restore. I said I'm only gonna sell the car because you're gonna restore it, and he restored it. I said the car's is immaculate.
That's crazy. Shout to Marlon. He said New York to Connecticut to Michigan. Holy crap.
Connecticut to Michigan is crazy.
To go check a car before paying for it. Shout out to shout to Tonio, man. Oh, by the way, R33 alert. I was at 25 Finish Green and somebody is there pushing a black one with white end case. So shout to you. My homeboy, shout to the Facebook users. My homeboy, we call him Crown Rick. I believe that's who you talking about. He lives near me, and he has a GTR with white end case. And it's also right-hand drive. We got to be talking about the same person. He has one on white wheels. I haven't got a chance to check it yet. I want to get Crown Rick on the show because all he does is import autos. He has a right-hand drive Toyota Crown. That's why I call him Crown Rick.
I like those Toyota Crowns. That's exactly.
His is old school though.
No, I like those. This new Toyota Crown that we got in America is nothing but a new Avalon.
Yeah,
It's not even
raised.
Yeah.
But I will say, his Crown has the mirror on the hood.
Yeah, that's an old school.
He has an old
He got
school
the Crown Presidential.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has an old school Crown, and he definitely could tell us a thing or two about importing them cars. So shout that you seen that, Facebook user. Shout that you seen him. He definitely running, and it sounds beautiful too. So it's going to be interesting. But we also seen a whole bunch of things. You know how we get down, man. It's the bearded one here, one half of Rally Radio. S.I. Sean still on his adventures. We got Dez the Nose Hunter in the building. You know how we get down, man. We love to have him in the building. He always drops a different view.
I'm glad we talked about Hyundai. Shout out to S.I. Sean. He doesn't like that I'm a Hyundai owner.
He don't like. Oh nah, we already know. You already know. We had a He said I was so fanboy I followed dude on the sunrise. My daughter didn't get the hype. Don't worry, we're gonna have him up here. His name, if we talking about the same guy, Crown Rick, all he does is import cars. He said he would love to be on the show. I want to get him in here because I want to see what it takes to import something like that. But with that being said, you know how we get down. We're going to move right on with the show. We only got 15 more minutes. It's crazy. It's how we love to get into the autos. But here we go, y'all. Y'all ready?
Legends of Auto. Real legends never die.
All right. We got a Legends of Auto here today. And the bearded one is doing it. Wow. Shout out to S.I. Sean. Looks like today's Legends of Auto that I chose is going to be the Saleen S7.
Oh, my God. 2001?
Yes. It was built from 2000 to 2009. They did have another one in 2017 that was supposed to be a remake of it, but I love it. Saleen S7. And we're going to get into it just a little bit. We all know that the manufacturer was Saleen. It did have a 427, had a large displacement 427 cubic and 7-liter motor in there. And they also, that was NA. They had a twin turbo version that was putting out damn near 1,300, 1,500 horsepower.
The regular NA was actually pretty fast.
The NA model was rated at 550. It was rated at 550, and the twin turbo boosted was 750. So excuse me, top speed of 248 miles an hour. The chassis used a space frame derivative design consisting of 4130 lightweight steel and aluminum honeycomb composite reinforced panels. It is divided into bolt fastened sub assemblies to allow for rapid access to critical subsystems. This design contributed to the car's lightweight of 2,865 pounds. It was 550 horsepower, 750 horsepower for the twin turbo, and above all, it was a 6-speed manual. Now, For those who haven't never seen one, we're going to put a picture up of one of them on our Instagram page, and we're going to have our at the bottom down here, Instagram at Gutterball Rally. So the natural aspirated version of S7 is able to accelerate from 0 to 60 in an estimated 2.8 seconds and 0 to 100 in 7.1 seconds. Woo! That is crazy.
That's hypercar numbers from back then.
From back then.
And that's 2000.
Yes. In 2006, Saleen offered an optional competition package for the S7 Twin Turbo. The package offered a 33% increase in power to a total of approximately 1,000 horsepower, as well as changes to the suspension, revised front and rear diffuser, and an optical aerodynamic package with carbon fiber front and rear spoilers. Oh my goodness. This car was about it. I seen one in my entire life. Have you ever seen one of these in person, Des?
Yeah, and I seen one at a it was at the Javits Center.
Yes,
they had one. It was a yellow one, and it had the my thing about that car is a real wide car in person.
Yes.
Now I love playing Gran Turismo because my uncle used to have one, and I had the Vector W8. I used to run to him versus the Vector W8. So it was like we had a battle of the V8s.
Wow.
I spanked him with the Vector though, but still it was. The Vector, it still put up a hard fight. That car handled better than the Vector.
And not for nothing, this Saleen S7 was one of 6 at that time American mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars.
Yeah.
It was one of 6. And some of it, they had some of the bodies that were produced totally in carbon fiber.
The thing about it, I don't understand, that car just never was promoted properly.
I don't think it wasn't for everybody to own.
But the Saleen, well, Saleen is a big company, so it's like Hennessy. Saleen's limited Hennessy, so they make Hennessy had the Venom, and they took the the Lotus, and I just felt that Saleen could have went further in the car market when it comes to that type of class of car. They know what they're doing. Maybe step to Ferrari. I think the Saleen S7 had enough for Ferrari back then, more than enough.
I believe it. Yeah, of course. I believe at the end of the day that when they made this car, they didn't make it for the eyes of everybody to have. Yeah. And S.I. Sean talks about that all the time. He's like, yo, you know what? Not everybody should be able to have this vehicle. And he's right. And when I look at the Saleen S7, that's what makes it a legend to me, is the fact that it wasn't too many of them on the road. It had gobs of horsepower. But shout to S.I. Sean, he going to laugh when he hear this. It was 6-speed manual.
You know who's still manual? Talking about specialty American cars. I went on the website. I went on the Paynos website. They still make cars. Still got manual transmission.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's not that. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's expensive, but an average person can still aspire to have one with a little bit of success.
Right.
And it's not a car that you see every day.
Right. Well, I tell you what. We got a couple things going on, a little bit more. We ain't got much time left. Shout to everybody listening, paying attention. Hennessy is on some dust. They would make a 400 horsepower big wheel in Batman.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. So right here, we got our
mods, the newest and freshest. Modifications, parts, and fashion. Only on Rally Radio.
Shout to everybody listening, paying attention. So today's hot mod is gonna be Drag Cartel engine parts. Shout to Cedric. Shout to everybody who knows that I'm doing this build, because you know what they did, right? The minute I said, all right, I'm gonna build it, the K series is definitely going into the CRX, everybody started hitting me up with parts. And the one place that I had overlooked for a while was Drag Cartel. Drag Cartel now, and they've always had, seem to be the header as far as all-wheel drive K-Series setups in EFs.
Yeah.
They sell so many different parts that I couldn't even believe it for myself. I had to go look. And they have all kinds, and I'm gonna tell you about a couple. One, I was looking at the all-wheel drive setup. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna go that route. Shout to Dave, wanna check in. I don't know if I'm gonna go that route.
Isn't that
because
all CRV stuff in that all-wheel drive setup?
No, some of it is older Civic.
Oh, the all-wheel drive Civic.
Yeah, some of them.
How do you
But the
crazy.
CRV is actually the one that can hold 600 horsepower, the transmission and the diff.
It's crazy.
They said it could hold 600. So they got Hub City Performance trailing arms. They got the Quaif LSD. I was looking at all kind of. They got the rear setup. This is really what a Hub City Performance all-wheel drive rear differential mounting kit. Shout to them because everything that I was looking for, if I was gonna do it, is right there.
Does the car turn though?
Well, you're not getting it to turn at that point.
No, I'm saying, but can you drive it daily? That might, you know what I mean? Like,
you ain't driving it daily at that
no, I'm
point.
saying, so it's a pure drag straight line car.
That is pure drag, straight line.
Because I can imagine
give it to
most of the all-wheel drive Civics, I'm like, nah, you can't even go to the store.
Yeah, but you know what though? They can surely get straight in 10 seconds.
Oh, cool. I mean, yeah.
And that's the thing. I think ultimately it's the wow factor, and it's a drag race car. If it's a drag, because I mean, look at the brand of the people selling it. Drag Cartel.
Yeah.
You ain't that ain't go to the store Cartel. Yeah. That's Drag Cartel. They definitely want to make you a car that you could get.
I mean, you can like I said, like you could do that with a lot of these Toyota cars, like even with RAV4s, the old RAV4 stuff, and do it in all-wheel drive Corolla, and you know what I mean. That's what the good thing about some of these front-wheel based cars, right? Like you can get, because the CRV is a front-wheel based, truck. So like that science can be applied to many, manufacturers and taking parts and stuff. So it's a cool thing.
Nah, I don't know if they could do it like Honda do it though.
You can do it with the RAV4?
How many Toyotas done it though?
I think they did it with the RAV4 drivetrain.
But to the
first gen.
But to the point where they selling this, they selling whole kits to do it.
I'm not Australian, so I just want me to know something. So I don't.
But that's what I said. At the end of the day, Drag Cartel sells a whole kit. That's how many. Think about the dudes who pioneered this. Without this, they did it to the point where a company had to get involved. To me, that says a lot.
I think somebody in the Bronx started this whole thing with this all-wheel drive stuff.
Probably did. That's hilarious. Probably did. But I will say, at the end of the day, it's interesting.
Mods, the newest and freshest. Modifications, parts, and fashion. Only on Rally Radio.
All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. We reached the end of the show, but we got a couple more things we're going to talk about. And this right here, y'all going to love.
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
So, our Understeer today is going to go with the McLaren 720S driver who crashed after losing a drag race to a BMW X3M. Whoa.
Max sauce.
This McLaren 720S driver's day went from bad to worse after they crashed their car into a hay bale right after losing a drag race against a BMW X3. While the 720S was certainly the more powerful of the two vehicles, superior all-wheel drive grip and the iffy surface meant the X3M was able to walk away from the mid-engine supercar during what looked to be a runaway event that happened early in February somewhere outside York in England. The McLaren driver seemed to misjudge the end of the drag strip and neglected to brake in time before slamming into a row of hay bales, judging by a video taken from inside the BMW. It doesn't appear any injuries occurred as a result of the impact. The video taken from the aftermath showed the McLaren parts scattered alongside the wrecked car, which seemed to have its fascia pushed in as a result of the impact. We're sure it won't be a cheap fix. Let me tell you, I don't know his name. They didn't publish his name. But wherever he is, if you could tag him in it.
It's the Understeer.
What up?
Where we like to ask, what the hell were you thinking?
He definitely gets the understeer. Shout to Phil. He said they don't need a kit for all-wheel drive Toyotas. Just use Celica GT4 stuff. It's already all-wheel drive. So, also, all-wheel drive Civic started in Jersey. It's a fact. Yeah, Phil. That's what I'm talking about. Dr. Phil, as usual.
Because they steal them. That's why. They put it together.
I say this. At the end of the day, that understeer, that's hilarious. I'm not losing a drag race to a SUV. I'm not. If I'm driving the McLaren 7, that BMW X3 had to have a lot of work.
Yeah, but also while you drag racing that McLaren, it's not built for it.
McLaren's is fast, bro.
It's fast, but I'm just saying, like, I would say it's just not the. I wouldn't
do it. But
for what?
We are here at the end of the show. This is our exhaust notes, and you know this is Black History Month. We like to get into a lot of different things with Black History, and to let people know that we made a lot of advancements in the automotive world. So we're gonna get into McKinley Thompson Jr. McKinley Thompson Jr. was the first African-American automotive designer, and he was the first African-American designer to work at the Ford Motor Company. Thompson was a designer on the first-generation Ford Bronco and also was a designer on the first-generation Ford Mustang, Ford Thunderbird, and Ford GT40 race car. Oh, man, they calling All right, we're going to have to, we ain't got much time on the call, baby. We're going to have to let that one ring out. So his career at the Ford Motor Company spanned 28 years from 1956 to 1984. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about him is because he was born in Queens, New York as a child, and he showed great interest in cars. He did his time in the Army. After that, he worked for Ford, had a lot to do with the development of the Bronco. Actually, the Bronco was his idea based on some of the things that he had seen in the jungle while he was in the military. And he ended up doing a lot of different things. He helped design the first Ford Mustang and also the first Ford Thunderbird. Shout to him. So with that being said, man, it's been one heck of a show. S.I. Sean will probably be back next week. He be ready to rock. Shout to BP. We see BP, the engineer. He's in the building. You know he want to say something. Step up to the mic, BP. What you got to say? Quick, fast, before we get up out of here.
Shout to EP.
Shout to EP. So with that being said, shout to Dez, the nose hunter in the building.
Urban legends are born every day, and I am one. I am the nose hunter. Crikey.
So I want to shout to everybody who listened today, who tuned in, who paid attention. Shout to those who subscribed, because we had a lot of people subscribe this time around to the YouTube. We appreciate y'all greatly, man. You know how we get down, man. It's the bearded one here, S.I. Sean. He will be back next week. You got any shout-outs you want to give, Dez?
I want to shout out to Hyundai for staying 10 toes down. You're still making very good cars. I want that Elantra N.
We're going to put a laugh on that one. But with that being said, we all up out of here. We are out.
Drop the clutch, hit the gas. Rally Radio, where the fast life meets the fast lane.
Yeah.
You're now tuned into Bars and Hoops Radio. Where the world of hip-hop and sports live.
Dropping the clutch and then I hit the gas. Wheels screeching, tires burning, I'm flying past. Gotta get home quick, don't wanna miss the class. They schooling you on whips and how to make them fast. Talking about everything from cars to planes. What's hot, what's next, and how to flip the game. They talk in my language, we speak the same. That whip talk complex, but yet they keep it plain. From the news, the interviews, they keep it cool. They give reviews, everything from parts to tools. Can't lose, come to whips, they not no fools. Don't miss the show, the start time is noon. The bearded one, S.I. Sean, they crazy though. You can't miss it, tune in to Rally Radio.
Where the fast life meets the fast lane.